Good evening. My name is Sophie Spence. Tonight, I'll be performing To This Day, a slam poem by Shane Koizan. I remember the first time I heard this poem. My friend insisted that I listen to it, and as soon as it started, I was captivated by the way this poem told the stories of those who had been bullied and who had overcome harassment and continue to survive in terrible situations, to grow and to be more than what people told them they were. This poem is autobiographical, and the stories are very different from my own, but this is a poem that encapsulates the experiences of bullying victims and how hard it can be to rise above people who try to tear you down. This poem is about bullying, partially, but it's also a poem that is really written to remind you that it is possible to rise above. When I was a kid, I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute, and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was scared I would get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise, and I got sent to the principal's office. From there, I was sent to another small room with this really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her, when I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from the house for 3 days, until they finally decided to ask me how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story spread through the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. She was 8 years old our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of the class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs, but the school halls were a battleground where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there. In grade 5, they taped a sign to her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful. Because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half of her face, kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom, because they see her heart before they see her skin, because she's only ever always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree, adopted. Not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when he became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy, started therapy in 8th grade, had personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence of being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to say, "Get over it," as if depression is something that can be remedied with any of the contents of a first aid kit. To this day, he is a stick of TNT, lit from both ends, could describe to you in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes becoming drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. Every school was a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to carnies. All of these were miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. lobster-clawed boys and bearded ladies, oddities, juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was practice, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this stuff is just debris, left over from when we decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror, look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside you that made you keep trying. Despite everyone who told you to quit, you built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it. They were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong.